Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we always walk at the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. You are all welcome to today's sitting. We also apologize for late commencement of today's sitting. Let us quickly go through the votes and proceedings of Monday, 29th April 2024. Page 167, 168, 169, 170. I have examined the votes and proceedings of Monday, 29th April 2024, and approval is here granted. Any message from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, sir, good afternoon, sir. Distinguished honorable members, good afternoon, sirs, good afternoon, ma'ams. There is no message from
government. Any other announcement?
There is none, sir.
Petition?
None, sir.
Matter of urgent public importance. Before we go to matter of urgent public importance, permit me to quickly recognize among us the presence of 27 students of JOSS, J-O-S-S, Jola Yemi Skyline School of number 5, Jayeola Street, Alagbado, Lagos, at the gallery to observe today's sittings. You are welcome, children. You are welcome and good afternoon to you. Thank you for coming. They are led by Mr. Jola Yemi Rahim Abiola and Mr. Tijani Jamiu Oluwa Sins. Pardon me, so we thank you for coming. We appreciate it. With us also this afternoon, we have the, should I say, latest chairman in town with us. That is chairman of our own ASCOM and his members, Otumba Richard Atola Oshungoye, chairman Lagos State House of Assembly Service Commission, and the commissioners with him, Honorable Kabiru Lawa, Honorable Omaumi Abibat Ogedengbe, Honorable Taiwo Adio Said, and Honorable Harley Du. So another latest honorable in town. So you are all welcome. We thank you for joining us this afternoon. Matter of urgent public importance, Honorable Olua.
Good afternoon, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. The matter of urgent public importance I've brought this afternoon is about the danger that is looming in Lagos State due to the operation of substandard gas retail outlets in the state. On Tuesday, the 30th of April just afternoon, I got a call from someone in my constituency about a gas explosion that had happened that afternoon. At the time that gas explosion happened, the casualty we thought was just very minimal. But as the day went by, we realized that the casualty had moved to about 50 people. This outlet we're talking about is a very small outlet, and the gas in that outlet went into flames in the Alayabiagba community of Ajiremi Federal Local Government. As we all know, that most people are moving from kerosene to gas, and using other crude ways of making their meals to gas because of the simplicity. And obviously, some of this demand will drive supply. Hence, we see all of these outlets opening here and there in our state. And if care is not taken, we don't nip this in the bud very quickly, we'll keep having such casualty. That is why I brought this matter to the floor, to all of you, so we can deliberate on it and find a lasting solution to it. As I speak to you today, we have had 15 people who have passed on from this incident and over 30 in the hospital. When I got to the hospital on the set day to visit and to commiserate with the victims, it's something I cannot describe. Fire is very powerful. And that is why I'm calling as a matter of urgency that we must find a lasting solution to such issues. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Elliott.
Okay.
Good afternoon, my right honorable speaker, honorable colleagues. Firstly, sir, I'd like to commiserate with Honorable Lua over the loss of the residents and also the casualties that happened on this fateful day. Mr. Speaker, anyone who has experienced fire incident will know how devilish it is. And as Honorable Oluwa rightly said, it has become a recurring situation right now, given to the reason that a lot of people are now moving from kerosene use to gas use these days. Also because of the population. Mr. Speaker, when issues like this happen, then it means that the state government should also live up to its expectations, and we must start nipping things in the bud, as rightly said by the prime mover of this particular motion. At this point in time, I believe that we need to make that sector of these small outlets of gas selling more professional, in the sense that approvals should start emanating. I believe that from the grassroots, which is the local government, we need to start working hard. It's not just about collecting revenue at this point in time. Proper procedures need to be taken. The local government should, first and foremost, we need to find out who will be responsible to take approval, so that we do not have a proliferation of these gas outlets as we see them today. They are almost on every nook and cranny of Lagos State. Everywhere you see them. And because people usually would not want to go to the fuel station, they prefer to just go to the nearby place. So there must be strict procedure. This brings us to where the Lagos State Safety Commission would come as well. There has to be a synergy between the Safety Commission and the local government into making sure that inflammable outlets like this are being curtailed, procedures are taken, advocacy is very important. Guidelines should also be given as to how people should get permits to operate such businesses. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe from the House of Assembly, we've been known to be proactive and making sure that these things are done, so that, as my colleague said, we do not start having such casualties in other local governments. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Arumoshu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. First of all, I want to commensurate with my dear brother, Honorable Lua, and all the victims affected by this ugly incident. But Right Honorable Speaker, as we speak, many are still yet to learn from this incident. Because when we still look around us, we still see the way people still handle gas with levity and not even care about what will happen to them or people around them. So I know this house is the house that speak for the people, most especially for the voiceless. And I also want to make passionate appeal to everyone that has still fall within these categories to please desist from it. And that's why we need to take proper measure from here, most especially to all ministry or agency that concern. And you also need to regulate every of the user of gas, all those that actually selling it to people in corner and corner of every part of our state, that they should please go after them and put things in proper perspective. There should be a check and balance when it comes to gas explosion, because we know there's no how explosion will happen that will not take lives or injury will not be sustained. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to call on all agencies concerned to please start enforcing law that will put check and balance in our society. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Lumosad.
Thank you very much, sir. Right Honorable Speaker. It is indeed a very ugly and sorry situation for us in Nigeria Federal Local Government. This is one accident too many. I remember when I came to the House in 2019, sometimes around November, this same incident happened and we lost lives. And under the Right Honorable Speaker, sir, there was a motion that was passed by this House that was meant to check the proliferation of the outlets for dispensing or retailing gas. After that resolution, there was enforcement by the Safety Commission and the ministry. But unfortunately, maybe the local government or the union, because these gas retailers, they also have union, they've watered down the effect of the resolution passed by this House. Please, sir, I want to request that the House, especially our committees in charge of monitoring, go hard on this very kind of incident. And also there should be enlightenment by the Ministry of Information and Culture so that people can know the danger. Why we want to use gas, not in areas like, especially in Ajegule, where we live in Binokonu or face me and face you, as it is normally called. So we need to take proactive measure. Resolutions of the House is not meant for fun. It is meant to be obeyed. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. God bless you, sir.
Honorable Raouf.
Thank you, the Right Honorable and distinguished members. I feel sorry for what happened in our constituencies. Although this happened in Ajeromi Felodun now, we don't pray for the same to happen in our other constituency. But if we are to guide against this, I think the Ministry of Special Duties, ministry that harbors the Safety Commission, Fire Service, and the rest of those agencies that are saddled with this responsibility, it is high time we call them. Apart from sending messages through, to the governors, but we in this House, we have to make sure that they appear before us. It's just a suggestion, the power rests with the Right Honorable Speaker, because we are tired. It's as if what they are meant to do, whether they are not doing it rightly. But we have been asked questions by our constituents as to what is happening here and there. I believe by the time they come and meet the House, whether by committee or together, we'll ask them questions. They should be able to explain to us the various strategies or their intention to counter this kind of occurrence. Of course, it can happen anytime, but most of this depends on our negligence. So if we put them on their toes, I believe they will do better, because we are tired of all this casualty Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, again, lastly.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, gas shops in residential areas are ticking time bombs. And there is no doubt that in every 3 to 4 homes in Lagos, you will definitely see a gas shop very close to your house. The customers are bringing their products close to you, but they are endangering the lives of Lagosians the more, because in case of explosion, then more of death will occur. And Mr. Speaker, I know definitely that there's a department for petroleum resources meant to regulate the affairs of gas stations. They are not doing enough. And in Lagos, I will urge the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources to embark on an enforcement to make sure that all illegal gas shops are shut down, and license should be taken at every point in time, and regulations should be done in all those gas stations to avoid unnecessary explosion in Lagos. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, well, we sympathize with the representative of Adirami Felodin, the representatives, because we have 2 of them with us this afternoon, while we also sympathize with the family of the deceased out of the fire incident that occurred through inflammation that occurred by people selling gas all around. I think it called for concerns as well. It calls for concerns as well. Having these people springing up, having inflammable substance, combustible substance all around us without regulation, without nobody paying attention. It is a serious matter, and it's something that we should give serious attention as well. And I don't know what your prayers are going to be, but I think it's high time, even though we know, and I agree that all the gas issue has the control, is on an exclusive list, but we must look for a way to manage the proliferation of those who are involved in such business in our state, because we can't continue. Now, we can't continue to give condolence messages to people. We can't continue to rise up for 1 minute silence while we continue to lose people and sacrificing lives of our people in Lagos because of commercial activities. So we sympathize. We will rise and observe 1 minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives. But at the same time, while we listen to the prayer of Honorable Oluwa, there we know a way forward. Before we do that, I don't know which one should come first. Maybe we should rise, or let us listen to your prayers first so we can amend it where necessary. Then we rise in one of those who have lost their lives.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My prayers this afternoon is to call on the Lagos State Safety Commission, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, as a matter of urgency, ensure that dealers in gas and combustible materials adhere to safety protocol. Also call on the Ministry of Information to embark on aggressive sensitization drive. Call on the Ministry of Home Affairs and Fire Service, and also the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority agency to respond to emergency situations like this promptly. Also call on the...
Sorry, we don't want them to respond. We want to prevent from happening. Responding is also giving opening to its occurrence again. What we are doing is to avoid it, not to happen again. So if it doesn't happen again, there's no need for response.
Thank you, sir.
So you can drop that leg and continue the...
Thank you, sir. Also call on the Ministry of Physical Planning to scrutinize approval for such facilities. Lastly, to call on the Special Advisor on Civic Engagement to engage the victims and render assistance and relief materials to them. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, before we put the questions, let us rise and observe a minute silence. Mr. Clark. May their souls rest in perfect peace. So who is seconding his motion? Honorable Luo.
I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly direct our resolve to all necessary MDAs. Yeah, before we move away from matter for the public importance. Okay. Personal explanations, Honorable Desmond.
Thank you once again, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to first and foremost commend the House for a job well done, and my reason being that just about 7 to 10 days ago, I had the opportunity to go to the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LSHA, and there, actually what took me there was another incident of fire that occurred in Surulere. And Mr. Speaker, firstly, I got there late, but on entering that place, to my greatest surprise and I would say elation, I discovered first the scenery had changed. It was looking very good. It looked very orderly. By the time I got to the ward, the emergency ward, I was pleasantly surprised to have seen about 8 to 9 doctors on this accident victim, with nurses around, and for a second I was a bit thrown away. I was wondering whether I was in the right place, but after all said and done, I wanted to just say maybe it was because it was that day. The second day they had transferred these victims to the burnt section. I can't remember the name they call that section though. So, what did you call it? The burnt accident victim section. The same treatment was still given to these patients. Also, I noticed where the nurses, some nurses or staff were wearing uniforms with ask me questions and moving around. And I began to ask, when did these changes happen and all this? And to my greatest surprise, we also went to Bagada Hospital where we saw some other victims. And the same form of changes we discovered again in that hospital. Unfortunately, we lost these victims, but we could find some form of appreciation that from even the deceased families, that LSHA did everything possible, just the same way it happened in Bagada General Hospital as well. To this end, sir, sometimes we come here and we call out, agencies when they've done wrong. I think at some parts, sometimes as well, we should put them, we should commend them, put a pat on our backs as well for jobs well done. We know we are not there yet, but we are seeing the measure of improvement. I want to believe, Mr. Speaker, it's not too far from what we do here at the Lagos State House of Assembly. Also want to commend Lagos State government for such an act and to say we should not rest in our oars, but to keep doing the best that we can so as to make Lagos State the trademark in every state. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Desmond. Thank you for taking what you notice in. And let me also urge our colleagues that whenever we notice something new, something that is positive about our MDAs, we should try as much as possible, to say it and bring it to limelight. So we are not about condemnation alone. We are not about raising questions alone. But when we see something that is appreciable, definitely we must talk about it and commend those who have done such job. And I think our hospitals in Lagos State deserve commendation. In addition to what Honorable Desmond just narrated, I think a former member of this house also sometimes had arts issue, which at least some of us were entertaining fears of what will come next. But thank God and thank to the official of our hospitals, they were able to revive, not just revive and restore him, and he's back on his feet doing well. In addition to that, one of our top institutions in Nigeria, particularly in this part of the nation, also had similar incident, and he came out, in good condition. He even narrated his own story himself, how he was well taken care of and is doing well now. So we commend them for the good job they are doing. We commend the governor for this good job they are doing. We commend the commissioners and the official of that great hospital. So Mr. Clark, kindly send a letter of commendation. We are saying this just to tell the public that when we are doing something that is good, definitely we will say it and we appreciate it. And where we see otherwise, we will not be reluctant, to come here and say it the way we have seen it. So we commend them and we commend ourselves as well. And that is what we look for in our state. So thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner for Health. And thank you all the Ministry of Health and the General Hospitals family. We thank you for good job going on. Thank you very much. On reports, I just want to state this quickly because it's a belated issue, but we must not allow it to slip without passing comment. As you have known, this house, right from 4th Assembly, 5th Assembly, we have been so particular about state police, and I think we are getting there. But there was a program organized by National Assembly in Abuja, which was attended by the Vice President and the former President, and the IG was ably represented by one of his subordinates. I think reimaging pathway to peace, reimaging policing in Nigeria was the theme of that. And the IG, the current IG, Egbeto confirms, that there is no need for state police in Nigeria. And he stated, he itemized reason that because what we have now is not well funded, no equipment, the personnel is not enough, and all that, and all that. And the fear of being used, state police being used by the governors against, contrary views within their state, and ethnic concern about ethnic issues and all that. And in looking at all this, in fact, if we cannot talk about others, I think we can talk about Lagos State. I'm sure we have what we call Security Trust Fund, in which various administrations, since Asiwaju, Fashola, Ambode, and Sanwo-Olu have provided support, enormous support. Enormous. When I say enormous, I know what I'm talking about, to the Lagos State Police Command. But yet, the issue of crime, of different dimensions has continued, to rise. We cannot boast or claim that we have been able to arrest the issue of crime in our state. So it shows that no matter what he has provided as solution, thinking that if we merge NSDC, National Security and Civil Defense something, and Road Safety Commission to Nigeria Police will solve our problem. I don't think. I think it was last week at our city that we talked about roads and issue of those who lost their life due to road accidents were mentioned, and road safety came up with numbers in thousands. So if they cannot, as it is, while they are standing on their own as an institution, manage their responsibility to prevent road accidents, so what will happen to them when we now match them to Nigeria Police? In the same way, NSDC, that is still battling issue of pipeline, partially, facing issue of kidnapping and all sorts. Yet we still have all this to talk about, and yet we want to match them with Nigeria. So it shows that the position of our IG is not acceptable. It is totally unacceptable, and what we look forward to is to have state police. We strongly believe that when we have state police, definitely we will be able to manage insecurity in our state, in our nation, as we have seen in other climes. You go to United Kingdom, they have different police forces, the same thing in America and elsewhere. So why should our own be different? The lives of our people, is so very, very, very important to us, and we must do everything to make sure we protect lives and property in us. So we want to state categorically that we believe in state police, and we want to urge National Assembly to continue with the intendment to create state police through process of constitutional amendment, and also to urge Mr. President, as he has made pronouncement, that they should continue and not look back. So that is our position in this institution, Lagos State House of Assembly, and I strongly believe I'm speaking the minds of my colleagues as well. So that was reports from what's happened in the national, what is it called, that they had in Abuja. Yeah, national dialogue on state police in Abuja. So it will be, let me hear maybe one or two people's view so we can move forward. Honorable, good evening.
Once again, I want to rise. Good afternoon, colleagues. Once again, I want to rise to appreciate Mr. Speaker for always being very proactive when it comes to matters that has to affect not only our states, but also the nation. We were all talked when we heard about the news and reports that was coming up, despite all efforts that all stakeholders were putting in to realize this dream that has always been at the mindset. A lot of people have advocated for this since June 12 and beyond. And we are happy that all states of the federations are also keying in to this crucial matter that is so important to our nation. So I want to appreciate you once again, sir, for bringing this forth, and to also emphasize that we've started on a very good note, and we won't go back on this matter. Because if you look at the gains that is coming up from even Lagos, who started the experiment, if you see the gains, and that's why we see business thriving in Lagos. That's why we see people coming down to say Lagos is a safe haven for them. So, and other states are now keying into this, coming into Lagos to look at the platform, to look at the issues we've raised to bring about safety in our states. Mr. Speaker, sir, we want to enjoin you that you should also be in the front advocating that this path we are going through should be something that should be sustained, that should assist our states to move forward. Once again, I want to appreciate you for bringing this to the fore.
Honorable, can you do the same?
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to join you and Honorable Goodipay in respect of what you said in respect of the state police. At the night assembly, we had a lot of deliberation in respect of it, and we just thank God that when the president, our father, became the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he also in support, and we have had a lot of examples that we can show to the world that it has happened in Lagos State. The only thing that remains is for us to give it a legalization, which has to do with weapons. Lots of people have been apprehended through the help of the neighborhood watchers, LSHA, in Lagos State here. During the time when we are having the issues of security kidnappings and some of those boys that are troubling them at the Ikorodu area, and that's why they are the people that are giving information to the police, and with that, they have been able to put a lot of sanity in that area. The same thing applicable in our area there during these issues of vandalization. These are the neighborhood watchers that have been people that have been assisting the police and LSHA with a very strong information. And for us now to turn them to state police, I know we are going to have a very good and positive record. So as we have been said, we are a little bit disappointed with what the Inspector General Police said, and totally, like you said, in Lagos State, most especially at the Lagos State House of Assembly, we condemn it, we don't want it. The process has started, and they must continue to do it. Now in Lagos State, we want state police in Nigeria, and that is shall it be. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Bodu.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Speaker. I would like to commend you, as my colleague just rightly said, for your doggedness over the issue of state police. Sir, I think Inspector General of Police is getting it wrong. He's not trying to consider the population of Nigeria. He's not trying to consider the population of Lagos State. How many police is guiding 100 citizens in Lagos State or in Nigeria? So they have to consider all those things. Just of recent, sir, At one of our committee, the GM of a neighborhood came, and he was giving us pictorial evidence that Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps are being invited by Gambia to come and train them on state police. So if the Inspector General of Police can be seeing all these things as evidence that Lagos State is moving towards this, he should not condemn it. I think he should support it. The population of Nigeria is growing, the population of Lagos State is growing. Currently now, in Lagos State government is putting in much effort to support Nigerian police system. We buy them vehicle, we buy them ammunition, and we are not getting results. If you have our own state police, we have better results. So I'm not in support of what he's saying, sir. Continue pushing for Lagos State. God will bless you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I thank you for bringing this matter to the fore again. The Nigerian police is not trying. We're not trying to replace the Nigerian police with state police. To the best of my knowledge, the state police is a form of assistance by the state to assisting the Nigerian police. So I find it absurd that the IG will kick against an attempt by the states to support him in the policing of the country. The citizens of this country that vote for, even when they complain about governors, the citizens of this country go out to their own free will to go and vote for their leaders. And I believe anybody that is harboring sentiments that one governor is going to take over the police, I have not seen a situation where the president takes over the Nigerian police as well. Then posting somebody gets into the Nigerian police from maybe Kaduna or Yobe State. His first posting is Lagos. He hasn't been to Lagos before, and how is he expected to perform his duties optimally? I believe the federal police structure will be very well complemented by a functional state police without trying to take much of our time. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Oluwo.
Let us face the reality today. Which state is not having state police one way or the other? Even in the northern part of the country, there are state police operating. It's just a matter of legalization through constitutional amendment for the reality of state police to come into light. Mr. Speaker, I want to select your courage because I remember vividly during the night assembly, it's a cause you have been fighting. Not only that cause, you fought for some other things. But today, for some, I won't say someone, for the IG to come up and say state police will not be to the favor of Nigerians, I am very sure that he's not looking at the reality that we face with the sophistication in crime, criminality, and crime that goes on now. Police should be local. We should localize policing in this country. So there is call for state police, and I believe it should come to reality. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very, very delighted with what you just brought out this afternoon. And I want to sincerely appreciate you on the resolute on national issue. You have been doing it before, and today's one is not a session. Sir, the issue of state police is a very critical one. If you look at the architecture of security for the last 10 years, it's still the same. We need a better change. And how do we do it? If you look all over the state now have their own architecture of security, one way or the other. What we just need is just a trial. If we don't try, we won't be able to get to where we are going. Now, for policing system in the state, we have only 500,000 numbers. And we have over 200 population in Nigeria. What can we cause that? We need to fortify this one. We need to push more aggressively, sir, so that this police, state police, will come to a reality. Thank you very much, sir.
Lastly, Honorable Lawal.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you for bringing this to the fore once more. I think now is the time for state policing in Lagos. We've seen everything that's happened in the past times, from what happened during NSAS. It's enough lesson to tell everyone in the state that we actually do need state policing right now. It's been what we've done so far with Neighborhood Watch. They've helped in recruiting people. We have information, right information. They work along with the police, they work along with the DSS. In fact, we have other countries, from Germany to Gambia. Recently, I think Cote d'Ivoire reached out to them to give them the format of which they're using to run the state policing. So if we have all of this, I do not think there's anything stopping us from establishing state policing in Nigeria. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Well, thank you all for your submissions. And I think there is one important incident that happened, as you mentioned, NSAS, during NSAS saga, at our Lagos High Court, our Lagos High Court at Igbo Shere, during the NSAS, while the hoodlums were looting that judiciary institution. The men of police force were there. They were there watching without doing anything. And the head of that institution, the most senior member of that institution, approached them to intervene to stop these hoodlums from looting, burning. They refused. Their response was that they were not given such instruction from the center. Yeah? They were not given such instruction. And they stand, they were watching without doing anything, and they allowed them to burn that institution and took away so many of their presidents. So I think it's very important for us to have state police in Nigeria, and it is high time. This is very important period for us to establish this. So Mr. Clark, you kindly do letter to IG stating our position on state police, and at the same time to National Assembly. The event was organized by National Assembly, giving our support and our interest in having state police. Thank you. Laying of report, Honorable Adjamali.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. I am here today to lay two reports from the Office of the Right Honorable Speaker on petitions that were passed to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions, and LSHA. The first one titled, A Petition Against Mr. Ude Onuoha by Messrs. Doze Investment Limited. I so lay. Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the second report titled Illegal Construction of Structures by Alpha Properties Limited in respect of parcel of land owned and duly registered by Net Construct Nigeria Limited by M.A. Banire and Associates. I so lay.
The Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. House of Assembly Bill number 13. Honorable Adams NB, Etiosa 1, Honorable Majid FA, Ibejuleki 1, Honorable Kasumu AR, Ikeja 2, Honorable Engineer David SS, Badagry 2, Honorable Sonny GBO, Koshofe 1, Honorable Tobun MA, Ekpe 1, Honorable Elliot DO, Surulere 1, Honorable Akisoya AN, Mushin 1, Honorable Tijani SO, Ojo 2, Honorable Rauf AO, OA, Amuwo Odofin 2, Honorable Abdulkarim JA, Agege 2, Honorable Ajayi OO, Ibejuleki 2, Honorable Orekoya A, Shomolu 1. With your kind approval, Mr. Speaker, sir, may I move that Community Development Association Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the first time. I so move, sir.
Honorable Desmond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it gives me great pleasure and honor to read for the first time the Community Development Association Amendment Bill 2024. I so read, sir.
Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, House of Assembly Bill number 14. Honorable Adams NB Etiosa 1, Honorable Majid FA Ibejuleki 1, Honorable Kasumu AR Ikeja 2, Honorable Engineer David SS Badagry 2, Honorable Ege OA Ojo 1, Honorable Adewale TA Ifakojai 1, Honorable Said WO Koshofe 2, Honorable Mrs. Lawal Olumegbon OO Lagos Island 1, Honorable Kazim OM Mushin 2, Honorable Mrs. Osafile FS Amuodofin 1, Honorable Ajomale OO Oshodi Isolo 2, Honorable Olotu E Ifakojai 2, Honorable Aro MA Ikorodu 2. With your kind approval, Mr. Speaker, sir, may I move that Lagos State Real Estate Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the first time. I so move, sir.
Honorable Osafile.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority Leader. Oh, Mr. Clark, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it is a great honor and privilege to read for the first time the Lagos State Real Estate Amendment Bill 2024. I so read.
The Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, House of Assembly Bill number 15. Honorable Adams NB Etiosa 1, Honorable Majid FA Ibejuleki 1, Honorable Kasumu AR Ibejuleki 2, Honorable Engineer David SS Badagry 2, Honorable Engineer Shabi RAA Lagos Mainland 2, Honorable Engineer Yishao GOR Etiosa 2, Honorable Afini OS Lagos Island 2, Honorable Olumo SL Ajiromi Ifelodun 1, Honorable Owolabi IAO Lagos Mainland 1, Honorable Lawal AM Apapa 2, Honorable Oluwa AS Ajiromi Ifelodun 2, Honorable Apata SO Shomolu 2, Honorable Jimo Orelope LO Alimosoro 1. With your kind approval, Mr. Speaker, sir, may I move that Lagos State Enforcement Task Force Bill 2024 be read for the first time. I so move, sir.
Honorable Sonny Ghani.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it is a great honor and privilege to read for the first time the Lagos State Enforcement Task Force Bill 2024. I so read.
Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, presentation of reports. A petition against Mr. Ude Onoha by Measures Doze Investment Limited, Honorable Ajomale OO Oshodi Solo 2, Chairman Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions, and LSHA. Mr. Speaker, sir, for us to take this presentation, may I move that this House resolve to Committee of the Whole. I so move, sir.
Honorable Tobito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise second the motion has moved.
Those in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Honorable Ajomale.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Today I'll be presenting a report on the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions and LSHA on a petition against Mr. Ude Onoha by Messrs. Doze Investment Limited. I'd like to seek and crave the indulgence of the Right Honorable Speaker to please let us move to page 2, where we go to the crux of the matter. The petitioner, Ms. Feintola Shoyinka Owusheni, informed that her company Doze Ventures, in conjunction with Breaklin Group, were allocated 2 different parcels of land for car lot business at kilometer 20 Lekki-Ekpe Expressway by the Lagos State Ministry of Transport via letters dated 14th of March 2020 with reference numbers MOTAG 2281/T2/30 and MOT/AG 2281/T2/25. The petitioner alleged that Mr. Ude Agu Onoha had consistently disturbed and prevented the 2 companies from taking possession of the land by denying them access to the right of way. She prayed the House to intervene in order to allow them take peaceful possession of the land without hindrances. Methodology. In order to get to the root of the matter, the committee adopted the following methods: invitation of the petitioners, respondents, and concerned MDAs, which included the Ministries of Transport, the Ministry of Environment, the Lands Bureau, and the Lagos State Parks and Gardens, to a series of meetings. 2, visitations to the disputed parcel of land for an on-the-spot assessment, and 3, for a request for written submissions. Submissions. Ms. Feintola Owusheni, the petitioner, posited that Doze Ventures was allotted a parcel of land at kilometer 20 Lekki-Ekpe Expressway near QMB Builders Mart by the Lagos State Government through the Ministry of Transportation in 2020. Copy of letter as an extra 1. She informed that the parcel of land was allotted to the company for car lot business, being a setback under the power line. She further informed that after fulfilling due diligence and in an attempt to take possession of the allotted land, Mr. Ude Agu Onoha prevented her from accessing the land by using thugs to harass and intimidate her every time while claiming to have a provisional approval from the Ministry of Environment and a certificate of occupancy on the same parcel of land. She stated that when the harassment became unbearable and practically impossible to take possession of the land, she reported the case to Maroko Police Station and later at Zone 2 Police Command for intervention, adding that upon arrest of one of the thugs stationed on the land, Mr. Ude Onoha appeared with some documents and purported C of O, which he claimed conferred ownership of the land on him. She expressed objections to the authenticity of the claimed certificate of occupancy presented by Mr. Onoha, while maintaining that Lagos State Government could not have issued a C of O on a parcel of land under the power line. She added that Mr. Onoha blocked the portion allotted to her company with a fence, thereby making her land inaccessible. Ms. Feintola further reported that the Ministry of Transportation had once invited both parties for amicable resolution of the matter, but the effort yielded no results. She reported how the ministry's admonition to Mr. Onoha to leave an access road through his portion, which is in front, to allow Doze Ventures or Doze Investment Limited passage to its land to the back was rebuffed and vehemently rejected by Mr. Onoha. She informed that the Ministry of Transportation resorted to pulling down Mr. Onoha's erected fence when every plea for access road to her portion at the back of Onoha's land was rejected by him. She lamented that the situation has remained a stalemate, as Mr. Onoha insisted on not granting access to Doze Investment Limited to access its portion. She appealed to the House through the committee to prevail on Mr. Onoha to allow her company access the land. Engineer Ojowuro OM, the Director of Transport Operations, Ministry of Transportation, confirmed that the ministry allotted a portion of land which he described as a setback to Doze Ventures since year 2020 on kilometer 20 Lekki-Ekpe Expressway by QMB Builders Mart Road for allied trade, in brackets car lots. He recalled that the ministry intervened when disagreement occurred over denial of access to Doze Ventures land by Mr. Onoha. He corroborated that all options proffered by the ministry for amicable resolution of the matter was rejected by Mr. Onoha. He added that one of the numerous options proposed by the ministry, which was for Onuoha to create an access road from his land as a passage for Dozie Ventures to its land and take a certain portion from the land at the back as compensation, was rebuffed. He stated that the ministry demolished the fence of Mr. Onuoha in order for Dozie Ventures to have access to its land, coupled with the fact that no permanent structure is allowed under a live corridor. Page 4. Responding to the questions on whether the Ministry of Transportation has control over setbacks or land under power lines to justify its allocation to the company, Mr. Ojowuro admitted that there is overlap of functions amongst MDAs, for which a committee has been set up by the Lagos State government for harmonization of such related issues. He, however, maintained that the seeming overlap is caused by insufficient land space in the state, which is one of the reasons why spaces under power lines are being allocated for car lots. He also admitted that beautification of setbacks falls under the purview of the Lagos State Parks and Garden Agency. He informed that as at 2020, when the land in contention was allocated, the list of LSHA allottees on the corridor forwarded to the ministry did not include Mr. Onuoha, which is part of the reasons for the overlap in the allocation. Responding to the questions on the status of the land as at when it was allotted by the ministry in year 2020, Mr. Ojowuro stated that the entire setback corridor was full of shanties. Barrister Ademola Adetokunbo, the counsel to Mr. Ude Onuoha, informed that his client has been processing the land documents since year 2015 before eventually obtaining his certificate of occupancy in year 2021 due to bureaucracy involved. Copy of C of O as Annexure 2. He recalled that the entire stretch of land was full of shanties, which was cleared and sand-filled by his client to make it suitable for business transactions. He stated further that the following issuance of the C of O, LSHA granted his client permit for beautification of the environment on the land. He added that when the case was reported as Zone 2 Police Command, LSHA wrote the Police Command to confirm that the land was genuinely allocated to his client and that his client had been paying annual ground rent on the land in line with the allocation terms and conditions. He confirmed that the portion allotted to his client on the corridor covers blocks 32E and F. 2.4, Mr. Arowoshayi OJ, the scheme officer of Lekki from Lands Bureau, confirmed the authenticity of the certificate of occupancy issued to Mr. Ude Onuoha on the property and informed that many other properties on the axis had been issued with certificates of occupancy. He, however, reported that the said C of O issued to Onuoha does not cover the portion allotted to Dozie Ventures and Breaklin Group, while also correcting the impression of facts that the land allotted to Mr. Onuoha is directly under the power line. He maintained that the land is some meters away from the power lines in line with the extant laws. Following the plea on compassionate ground by the committee chairman, Honorable Jomale, for Mr. Onuoha to grant access road to Dozie Ventures to access the property at the back, Mr. Onuoha explained that he is not opposed to granting access to Dozie Ventures through his land, provided that the company is ready to compensate him for some of the expenses he incurred in clearing and sand-filling the entire land, which gulped a huge amount of money. He denied the allegation of using thugs to prevent Dozie Ventures from accessing its land. 2.5, Mrs. Taiwo Cole, the head of the legal unit, Lagos State Parks and Gardens, LSHA, submitted that LSHA is the agency in charge of setbacks and beautifications in the state. She further stated that most of the allocations of setbacks on the corridor by the Ministry of Transportation is illegal, but the agency overlooked the anomaly in order not to put the LSHA to disrepute. She reported that the agency got a letter from the Lands Bureau that the open space in contention is part of the buffer zone that has been redesignated as residential area, which also justified its approval of beautification project to Onuoha. She also confirmed that the entire stretch was sand-filled by Mr. Onuoha in year 2015, and the space was eventually awarded to him in 2021. She stated that when disagreements over ownership was brought to the knowledge of the agency, it was resolved that all parties should maintain status quo, but the Ministry of Transportation went ahead with the award of the back space to Dozie Ventures and Breaklin Consulting, respectively, which is not written which is not within the purview of the ministry. 2.6, Mrs. Olorunfemi AA, the head legal Minister of Environment and Water Resources, corroborated the assertions of Mrs. Cole from LSHA on the fact that control of setbacks and beautifications reside with LSHA, while drainage channel resides with the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. She, however, cautioned that such terrain may not be conducive for car lot business due to the presence of high-tension wires in the zone. She ruled out the possibility of creating slabs on the drainage channel to serve as access road to Daisy Ventures and Breaking Consulting to avoid collapse of the drainage with the attendant consequence of flooding in the corridor. 3.0, visit to the local Simcoe disputed area. On Tuesday, the 30th of January 2024, the committee, in conjunction with officials of the Ministry of Transportation, Lands Bureau, representatives of Daisy Ventures and Breaking Consulting, as well as Mr. Ude Onoha and his counsel, Barrister Ademola Adetokunbo, in attendance, paid a fact-finding visit to the disputed area where the following were observed. Observations 3.1. It was evident that the demarcating wall constructed by Mr. Onoha, which prevented Daisy Ventures and Breaking Consulting from gaining access to their land, was pulled down by the Ministry of Transportation. Number 2. There is a drainage channel for water collection by the side of the contentious land, or the contentious space, that runs from Mr. Onoha's space through to Daisy Ventures' space at the back and beyond. The spaces allotted to Daisy Ventures and Breaking Consultants by the Ministry of Transportation are located directly at the back and share boundary with the space allotted to Mr. Ude Onoha. 4. It is practically impossible for Daisy Ventures and Breaking Consulting to access the portion unless Mr. Onoha grants a space to the two companies as access road to their land. 5. The plea by Daisy Ventures to create access road on the drainage channel with slabs to access its property at the back is against the physical planning permit and structural strength of the drainages, as it could collapse and cause flooding havoc on the corridor. Number 6. It was evident that the corridor was full of shanties before it was sand-filled to suitability for business to thrive in the area. 4.0, the findings. The committee found out the following. The disputed land is not directly under power lines as alleged by the petitioner. Mr. Ude Onoha got his allocation from the Lands Bureau and has a certificate of occupancy duly issued to him. Mr. Onoha single-handedly cleared and funded the sand filling of the entire area prior to the allocations to the other allottees. Ministry of Transportation also allocated a portion of the disputed land to Daisy Ventures for car lot business outside its ministerial responsibilities and oversight, claiming it falls on road setbacks. Lagos State Parks and Gardens has rights to administer road setbacks and beautification in the state. Number 6. The Lagos State Parks and Gardens awarded a setback beautification contract to Mr. Onoha. 7. The portions allocated to Daisy Ventures and other allottees fall at the back of Mr. Onoha's property. Hence, access without Onoha's consent is impossible. And 8. Mr. Onoha is willing to part with a portion of his land to grant access to Daisy Ventures, provided the company is ready to defray parts of the cost of clearing and sand filling of the entire area. At this junction, Right Honourable Speaker, Mr. Chairman, sir, I would like to extract these recommendations and replace them with the following that will be read, sir, because of some of the errors and mistakes that are here. With your kind permission, sir. The recommendations, based on the submission of the concerned parties and agencies of government and the committee, we hereby recommend as follows: that Mr. Ude Onoha grant access to Daisy Ventures and Breaking Group of Companies through his property in front and should be compensated with commensurate square meters outside the meters allocated to Daisy Ventures and Breaking Group of Companies. Number 2, Daisy Ventures and Breaking Group of Companies should also compensate Mr. Onoha for the clearing and sand filling of the entire area of their allotment prior to their allocations. 3, an urgent review of the structures, jurisdictions, and schedules of duties amongst various government agencies with a view to harmonizing the overlap. Appreciation. On behalf of the committee, I hereby express our profound gratitude to the Right Honorable Speaker and the distinguished colleagues for the confidence reposed in us to carry out this assignment. My sincere appreciation also goes to the Clerk of the House and the Secretariat team for their administrative support towards the completion of this task. Thank you very much. Signed, Honorable Ajomale Oladipo, Chairman, Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions, and LSHA.
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I move the report presented by the committee should be adopted for debate.
Honorable Kande Joseph.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Honorable Elliott.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Please, may I seize the opportunity to commend Honorable Ajomale and the other members of this committee for a good job. Mr. Speaker, sir, I just want to, and looking at the recommendation, firstly, if you go by what you said, that the allotted land, from what you observed, is no longer under the power line. And if it's no longer under the power line, I don't know where the Ministry of Transportation now has the right to give such lands. So I don't know why we did not talk about that. But given your recommendation, whereby you said they should be compensated, you didn't state who should do the compensation. That's in number one item in your recommendation one. That's just where I have my observation, sir.
Honorable Sonny Ganu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I also want to join my colleague who spoke earlier to commend Honorable Ajomale and the member of this committee for a job well done. Mr. Speaker, it is noteworthy to say that our agencies, ministries are on the verge of, embarrassing, the state through these functions overlap. And this must stop. And we must send a strong signals to our ministry to find a middle point, a convergence where all of these untoward tendencies will be resolved. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, we cannot cry more than the bereaved. Mr. Onoha, who carries a CFO on the land, has graciously accepted access to Messrs. Bacon and Dose. So it's so straightforward that we don't need to say much about it. So this, he has granted access, and there is no problem about it any longer. However, on the recommendation, number one, I want it to be better couched like this. As agreed, Mr. Ude Onoha should grant access, not be persuaded to. He has already been granted access. So, aside that, I wholeheartedly concur with the recommendation of the committee.
Honorable Lubo.
Very much, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. I want to join my colleague to commend the committee for a job well done. In fact, the report is so thorough that you hardly want to find a fault in the findings and the recommendation. I would have wished that the committee, during their findings, tell us for what purpose the land in questions are being used for. Maybe by Mr. Onoha. We know that the other party is using the place for car lot. Is Mr. Onoha using it for beautification as it is recommended in the certificate of occupancy issued to him, or is using it for other purpose? Maybe they are trying to create another estate from that place. I think a pictorial evidence would have been able to help us to actually establish what that place is actually being used for. But I want to commend the committee for a good job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, sir. I also want to join my colleagues to commend the committee for a thorough job. My own observation and probably maybe a note of warning too to the officers in charge has been said by Honorable Okolanwo. This thing is becoming too much to our people. The people from the Ministry of Transport, I expected them to do the thorough investigation that before giving the land to those people. So I would have loved it if the committee would have mentioned the name of those officers that did that job. And if they are found wanting, there must be consequences. At least that will serve as a very good example for others. We have many of them that are putting the names of the government to embarrassment. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. I just want to talk concerning the second recommendation, sir. It is put in here, those mentioned about the group company should also compensate Mr. Onua for the clearing and filling of the entire area carried out prior to the allocation. Is it by money or by what? I think the chairman of the committee should please be specific on that. That spreading it out. What are they going to be compensated with? That is one. Then the other one is not out of hand by knocking the fourth recommendation now. Maybe it can be couched this way. The only party in dispute should maintain peace and order pending the recommendation of the House. Thank you.
Lastly, Honorable Toby.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Well, from the observation, one can see that the Ministry of Transportation allocated the land directly behind those venture without giving considerations to the access. And that is what makes it the surface in finding number 7, where it was clearly stated that without Mr. Onua granting access, they cannot access that land. That means those people are at the mercy of Mr. Onua. Yes, we must commend Mr. Onua and thank him so much for granting the access. But Right Honorable Speaker, sir, I just want us to be careful not to cause problem. The man has sanfilled the whole place. He has been enjoying it. So at recommendation number 2, telling the Dorsey and Breaklin to go and compensate him on the amount spent so far on the entire land may bring another problem. It has been resolved that the area to be used as an entrance, they must pay him back at the back, and he has agreed. So I think if that is done, we can allow peace to just reign, rather than saying, because by the time he now said he want to collect compensation, he may give them amount that will be so humongous that those one will not be able to meet up, and it will bring about another problem. So we, as somebody who is making peace, we should be careful of recommending compensation in any way for the entire land that gentleman has failed. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for your submissions on this recommendation. I think the committee, through the chairman, has not done justice to this petition, because they've only left us in the middle with this recommendation, and as observed by those of you who have contributed, commented on it, Onua should be persuaded by who? Who should persuade who? To grant access. So what is going to, is it the House that is going to persuade? If you committee has not done the job to the final stage, the expectation of our expectation of assigning you this is to bring the final, decision and conclusion of this matter, so that we can take position. Now that you have thrown it back to us, are we going to? Is it the House that go and persuade Mr. Onua or who? Those Fenshaw and Barclay group of government should also compensate if you are, even though you are aligned with compensation from your findings, then the process of compensation should also be stated or cleared. Should be cleared. So I think this we and Mr. Onoa on his part, I mean, was aware of the portion of land granted to him, the condition from day one. And I'm sure such condition will as well influence the amount of money paid. So coming back at this stage, after he has done the needful to compensate, is questionable. And if you have not settled them and you are not saying all the parties in this pool should maintain peace, how are they going to maintain peace when the object of peace has not been solved or discussed? So I think this is your recommendation. You still have to go back and bring it back to us when you have done justice to this report through your recommendations. So on this note, I'll ask us to step down this report. We'll see another day is allotted. Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I wish to move that this House reverts to plenary. I so move, sir.
Honorable Said Wasil. Put off your light.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. I want to state that as the true reflection of what transpired.
What redemption?
Second, I second the
not
motion.
only redemption, it's camp. All in favor.
Right Honorable Speaker, I second the motion, sir.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, at the Committee of the Whole, a petition titled a petition against Mr. Ode Onoha by Mr. Dosi Investment Limited was represented by Honorable Ajomale. So members deliberated on the issue, but at the end of the day, the petition was stepped down for another allotted day. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Lawal, I know.
Thank you, sir. I rise to affirm that what Majority Leader said is true recap of what transpired at the Committee of the Whole. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Tijani.
I rise to second the affirmation.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Majority Leader. Yeah, Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I have the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker to move that this House adjourn till Thursday, 9th of May 2024 at 12 p.m. I so move, sir.
Honorable Lawal.
I rise to second the motion as moved.
Before the question is put, there will be a short meeting immediately after plenary. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. This House stands adjourned till Thursday, 9th May 2024 at 12 noon prompt. I rise.